Shanti, boy, I'm really happy to be here today. Is it okay to say that? Boy, I needed it. About an hour and a half ago, I was still in Manhattan thinking, oh, am I going to get here? Because it was just one of those days, but a good day, but just too busy. You ever have a day at work? I work in government and the vectors of work are just coming at me and they all need to be answered that minute. And a new meeting comes and that minute and one meeting after another. But what I noticed was the transition between the meetings. I was renewing myself between each meeting. Meeting, I had what we call Baba, God with me, and I think he was having a grand old time watching me run from meeting to meeting. But I knew that he was with me today. It's not always, I don't always remember, but today he was. And as a result, it was a pretty good day. And I could look back at it and say, okay, it was okay. But I knew I was coming here, and that helped too. And when I sat down and I saw Louise, my co-host, hi Louise, hi Tony, he's not listening, my buddy. When I sunk into the chair and I looked out and I saw you, that I've talked about it, that sigh. And it was just wonderful. And I was thinking all day, well, what am I going to say? Because our speaker today said I have to talk for 45 minutes. Is that true, Erik? I hope not. Keep going. No. You want to hear from Erik. But renewing the right to God's love. And I was thinking about it. Why do I think it has to be renewed? God's love is always there. But it's true. I have to work at renewing it. It's like the sun. It's there. If you're a dark cave, the sun comes to the cave, there's no darkness anymore. God is always there. But sometimes I forget. And today I noticed that you can renew yourself. And I had what I called micro renewals. It's hard for me to explain. I had micro renewals between my meetings. I was able to remind myself about the peace and the love. And the one thing that I am sure of, and especially after a day like today, a busy day, the one thing, and I can say it with all my heart, God is there. Some people say, oh, I don't know. I'm agnostic. I don't. That is the one thing in my life that is true for me. I can only speak for myself, that God is there, but only if I reach and renew with him. And today was a series of micro renewals every minute when I was transitioning from meeting to meeting and phone call to phone call. And you know what? The day was much more tolerable. And God had a blast watching me because I was pretty funny today, just running. And now I'm here with you. And I have a chance to listen to none other than Brother Erik. And I can sit down like you and bask and bathe in the love and the peace. I even went home, I had time. See, this is my favorite scarf, my peace scarf, because I wasn't wearing this today. And I ran home and changed and put on my peace scarf because I'm ready for this. So I'm done, Brother Erik. So you're going to have to come down and speak here, Brother Erik. And Erik is the director of the Brahma Kumaris World Spiritual Organization, and he's a representative for the Brahma Kumaris to the United Nations and a member of NGOs on the freedom of religion, of belief, and the religious NGOs, and the board of directors of the multi-faith, Long Island Multi-Faith Forum. And I needn't tell you if you've ever seen him, and hopefully you have. Is any who's new tonight? I'm not sure. You new? Second time? Nope, that's not new. Not new. You're a seasoned vet. So welcome back. And Zoomies, I know Louise always says that. Hi, Zoomers. How are you? We have people here too. So welcome. And if you've had the pleasure, as I have, he is a very wonderful Raj yoga meditation instructor and a facilitator of retreats. And I'm excited, and it's hard to believe. You once gave your birthday. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. No, I don't. I'm not going to repeat it, but I don't believe it. Before his retirement, I can't even believe you, Jason, was a civil engineer and retired from a career in property loss management. And with that, I would like, we're all going to enjoy tonight. I know we're going to enjoy tonight's evening with Brother Eric. Thank you. I'm done. I can't believe you're, I really, it's amazing.
Lives. And you were all amazing to be here, so thank you. This month of January is renewal, kind of resolutions, a lot of re's going on, redundant maybe. By the end of the month, maybe everything about newness and change has been said. So we'll try to spice it up a little with some ideas that you might think about some, and I hope you had a chance to think about some from the meditation commentary that was played, because that's going to find its way in here. A little bit about time and how that might play out in our lives, and how we might be able to look at things in a way that is beneficial for our everyday. Because the topic tonight was renewing the right to God's love. And thinking about this, lots of ideas kind of flow through and pass by. And the one that stayed with me is a story that was written up in a book. And it was a wonderful nonfiction, although it was based on fact. I think there's a term for those things, nonfiction, but no one was there 600 years ago. So it was really hard to say everything was exactly true. But there's a story about an individual who is a book hunter. And it was in the 1400s. And we're looking for some of the original, although it's been mentioned that there were no original, they were all copies of some of the writings of the ancient Greeks and Romans. The book is called Swerve. Fabulous, I thought. And it is about the individual who goes after the Middle Ages or the Dark Ages, at the end of that, searching the European countryside for copies of what was written, 1200, 1300 years before that. And part of the story is that in a German monastery, deep underground, somehow a copy of the Roman author, philosopher Lucretius was found. And what was found was the book writings, the poem, The Nature of Things. And it had disappeared, gone out of there, but interesting to kind of imagine that somehow there were rumors and ideas that something 1,000 years ago was still around, and let's see if we can find these things. And so he was a book hunter. He was looking to bring back some of the wisdom that had been generated and orally maybe had been remembered. He found it and came back. And there is a description of that I'd prefer not to paraphrase, but it was radical, both when it was written and at that time, because they were claims that all matters, this is part of what was written, that all matter composed of atoms, that matter is constantly in motion, that human beings return to the cosmic atomic dance when they die, and that there's no afterlife religiously sanctioned. And finally, that joy in existence, not suffering or atoning or endurance, is the point of life. And that some of those who were influenced by these ideas are Galileo, Einstein, and Thomas Jefferson. It's the pursuit of happiness was based on an idea from a long time ago that was hidden and brought out again. And I like that, and to mention that for a number of reasons. That there is an individual who found something, but it never really disappeared. It was written down and it was copied and shared, and a few things. If you can imagine, how many of you think you might have had this job of copying manuscripts, one page at a time, one letter at a time, rather than going on and getting at your Kindle or getting a book? That in order to have a book, that means someone would have written it and copied it. And that could have been your job in the 1400s, 1300s, book copier. Probably a good middle class job, I'm not sure. It was only the monks who did that. But to understand that what was written didn't disappear. It might not have been known, it might not have been read, but the truth or the content of what was being spoken, shared, communicated, never went away. Even though it might not have been known, it might not have been found, it might not have been in anyone's awareness or intellect, that book was still there. It survived. The concepts, the truths, the ideas, they never disappeared, but they might not have been available. And what is kind of exciting to me about that specific story is that it's probably our story also. That there is something that's written, that's recorded, that's true for all of us. Each one may be similar, but each one is different. And there might be some universal truths that we might not know. But that doesn't mean that they aren't still there. That we might not have found the book that will remind us of what is our truth, or what is universally true, or what is considered to be unknown by us currently or previously, but is revealing itself. And we might not be book hunters. The fact, to me, that we come together to talk about spiritual ideas kind of indicates that we are hunting for something. That there is something that we know exists, that we understand has been provided, recorded, copied, available somewhere. Because the book hunter, it's an Italian name, somehow knew that there was something. He wasn't sure exactly what he was looking for, but he knew that there was something that had been created that had some sort of energetic energy. And actually, because he found this and because it was there, this was some would say is the key that started the Renaissance in Europe. New ideas, new energy, new perspectives. It just was kind of the dividing action from dark Middle Ages into the Renaissance. That's pretty amazing to think that an idea from the past can be resurfaced and change lives, change cultures, change technology, everything. But want to kind of push in your direction that that's what we're doing too. That's what's happening now. That the book that we've been hunting, the ideas that are there, the truth that somehow we know, maybe in the heart, maybe in the heads, maybe in the toe, not sure where you resonate your truth, but maybe there's something that you know. And as you get closer to it, there's a discovery. Because the book, the truth, the knowledge that you might not be aware of didn't go away. There is universal truth, and we resonate with that. And so right now I'm going to offer, maybe you can see yourself as this energetic being that is looking to be in sync with your truth. And if you go into place, how do you feel? Is there something that is on the same level? Is there something that's, I'm feeling a nice way? Are you in touch with the qualities of the unseen? Put it that way. We had a program a long time ago, forget how long it was, about resonance. And if there's a certain frequency and you're attuned to that, there's motion that happens. It kind of swings at the same time. If you are not in the same frequency, does it move? And background is a little engineering, and that's what happens sometimes with earthquakes. Some buildings fall, some don't, because they're in a certain resonance, wavelength. Because of the way the ground is shaking, if the building is kind of attuned to that, it will start to move and collapse also. And if it's built in a different way and it doesn't move in the same, a little heavier, a little thicker, it's not moving at the same frequency that the ground is shaking, and it'll stay. And so we are instruments that resonate with the things around us. And if you can see yourself that way, then you're kind of like a spiritual Geiger counter. Okay, click, 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 click. I like this. There's something over here that is activating my energy. And so that book, that truth, that eternal quality doesn't go away. We might not know it, we might not find it, but starting with the fact that, yeah, there is something, and I'm going to hunt for it. I'm going to look for that. And I will renew myself with it, with that when I find it. If it's a book or an idea or an experience or a meditation or whatever it's going to be, there's going to be a aha. This is opening up the path for me to. And when I have that awareness, when I start to have that renewal, that brought in a little bit of the time. That there is a time when we know who we are, when we live with that truth, and when we have that feeling that this is how things can be. Might be in our subconscious now. Probably hasn't been in the last 10 days. Because right now, a lot of people in the world have the feeling that things aren't working out and I don't feel the way I think I should be. Talk to everybody. Everybody's got an idea of how things should be or could be better. These people should behave. They shouldn't be doing this. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to. A lot of finger pointing. It's pretty universal right now. A lot of dissatisfaction, a lot of disappointment. Things aren't the way they should be. They used to be, the way I want them to be, the way I think they can be. There's something that we carry around with us. There's a truth, there's a feeling. And most would agree there should be more peace, there should be more love, there should be more cooperation, there should be more this or that. There shouldn't be so much bothersome from others. No. We carry around a truth. It hasn't gone away. We know what it is. And there was a time we must have had that experience. Because if we're looking for something, if we're trying to find something, that kind of confirms that it existed and it was there. And so I want to offer that there was a time when people were peaceful with each other, were cooperative with each other. They got along with each other. Maybe there was a lot more space and there weren't so many. But there's that sense that that's what I'm looking for. I want those qualities back in my life. And if I want them, they were there. And so I'm in the process of hunting and renewing. And renewing is not only what I have or what I've experienced, but it's also coming from another source. And the theme tonight was renewing God's love. And so I want you to think of that book that the book hunter found. It was always there. And want you to see if that makes sense, that the love that's available has never gone away. We might not have been experiencing it. This is God's love. We might not have been experiencing it. We might not have felt it. But that doesn't mean it wasn't there. It was always there. Maybe it got hidden away in the basement of a monastery. Maybe it got clouded over, if you can bring in the picture of the world with the strips of negativity over it, anger, hatred, fear, worry, those things. That interferes with that experience. We can't see. We can't hunt. We can't find when we have that in our intellect, when we're thinking that way. And so renewing the right to God's love. God's love is always there. The sun is the best example during the day. It's always there. It's always shining. It's always giving to anybody in any way. Some clouds, they might interfere. See those as the negative thoughts that we create. They interfere. We don't feel it the same way. The sun is always there. Might be some interference. You might not experience it the same way, but it gives to everybody all the time. God's love is the same way. It gives to everybody all the time. We have the right to that just because we exist. And I want you to hold on to that thought and make that your own. I have the right to God's love just because I am. Not because I have to do anything special, not because I have to say anything, not because I have to prove myself, not for any specific reason other than that's who I am, that's how it works. And so as we renew ourselves, as we have that sense that, okay, this is the time for me to choose that I have a right for that. I have a right. We talk about this sometimes on some of the issues in the United Nations. There are rights, but what comes along with rights? And what the two combinations are, there's two things. You might have the right to do something, but you also have the responsibility to deal with that. Rights don't come without some sort of responsibility. If you have the right to be peaceful, you have the right and the responsibility to share that, to act that, to be that. Rights come with responsibilities. And so the right to God's love, I want you to think about that. I have the right, but what have I done? What have I become? How have I wandered off? Where have I hidden the book that I'm hunting for? Where has the book been hidden? And so our responsibilities to experience that. How can I clear my mind? How can I connect? How can I remember? How can I make myself so that I am available to experience that love. What am I doing? I have the right to it, but what am I doing with that? What am I doing with those energies, those experiences, that feeling? Am I thinking of the sun again, the sun shining? You have the right to the sunshine. But what do you do with it? Some might get a tan. Cool. Some might close the windows because it's too bright. Some might not like it. Some, whatever it's going to be. And some might be able to take a mirror or a glass or magnifying and start a fire and cook dinner. Some may be able to have their intellect and their idea to be able to collect the energy and to heat some water and to cook food. I'm going to go to India in February. A few of us are. And they've got a solar plant there, one of the largest around. A lot of mirrors all focusing in. And so they have steam cookers. And if you can, maybe you've seen the pictures. We'll show it sometime, maybe when we come back. But they cook 3 meals a day for 20,000 people with solar cooking. They take the power of the sun, they heat it up, the water, the steam, cooks the vegetables, provides, it's amazing. And so what do we do with the energy that we're given? You can cook with this power of the sun. You can, hide yourself away from it also. But if there is this idea and feeling, God's love, and we have the right for that, what do we do with that? How do we renew ourselves? How do we remember that that was the way I can be, the way I am, and that we are going through this time of change? The time of change is rediscovering that I had this experience, I lived this life, I'm looking for it, I measure time, situations, people with that truth. That the book I'm looking for is me. How do I get in tune with myself? How do I spend my time during the day so that the thoughts and the actions that I perform and create are in alignment with the experiences that are true for me, that I want? Because meditation for me here, what we've been practicing, it's real simple. I'm a thinking being. I create thoughts. I experience thoughts. I choose them. They come into me. And each thought has an experience, has a consequence, has a feeling. And it's very simple. The thought I had creates a feeling. Is that something that is resonating with the truth, me, with the qualities that I underline want in all situations, peace, love, happiness, cooperation? Is that thought helping that energy grow? Yes or no? If it's a yes, continue. I'm a peaceful soul. I'm a being of love. I see things in a positive way. I have this sense. I become that. And if it's no, the thought I'm having is bringing me anger, it's bringing me fear, it's bringing me sorrow. Recognize it and stop. And you don't have to stop and try to fight it. But a better way is replace it. How do I replace it? With what? Oh, that's your responsibility. You are responsible to have a plan for yourself so that you are able to think in the way that will allow you to be who you are. Peaceful, loving, being. And if we remember ourselves and we feel that we are always the right to God's love, then we feel that quality, that gives us power. So we're renewing at this time, because this is the time when the book has been found. Book hunter found the book, brought it out, and it influenced lots of people at that time, lots of people after that time, and frankly, us too. Ideas that are released and created propagate and affect the world. And we're going through a time now where we are renewing, rediscovering, finding out how to use that knowledge, that experience, that feeling of God's love. And if we have that right and everybody has that, then along comes the responsibility. What am I going to do? What am I going to do for myself? What do I want in my life? What do I feel could be possible? My own thoughts, words, actions, understanding. It becomes quite, to me, fascinating what's actually happening in the world now. The book has been found. We are spiritual beings. Raja Yoga. Who am I? I'm a spiritual being. I'm a soul. I have these qualities. I'm eternal. I'm using the body. I have to take care of the body. I have to live, but that's the external. What's going on inside of me? Who am I? How do I feel? What are my qualities? What is it that I am actually experiencing and providing? Because I do agree a little with some of the fundamental laws that were ancient at that time. Atoms are around. That's kind of a thought that came and went, and it's back in there. But our life, it's a big question. What's our life about? And part of it is pursuit of happiness. That's in this country. But the pursuit of happiness doesn't mean just to be partying all the time. Pursuit of happiness is that sense that we have a chance as spiritual beings to express ourselves in life with our qualities. We're able to experience, we're able to share. And that's basically all our life is about. Okay? Accolades, achievements, they're great. But what is the consciousness that we're doing with what is the experience that we're giving? Life is about experiencing the world, experiencing other people, sharing the qualities that we have, how much love and peace and happiness and joy do we give, and experiencing that with others in exchange. Everything else pretty much superficial and is not satisfactory. And what I mean by not satisfactory is we have and carry around us that feeling of God's love. It's all right. We've had that experience. We know what that's like. And if we can't find the book that is the source of that, we might find something else. And so if we can't focus in and have God's love, we might settle for somebody else's love. How many of you know a perfect person? Is always there, always done the right thing, always going to be. Have you ever been in family or friends or work where people kind of do something and annoy you a little? Yeah, I like that. Maybe yes, maybe no. But there aren't very many people that you will find who are always going to say and do the things that you think are what you want them to do. People, human beings, are a far second from the experiences that we have had from God. They might give us a little peace, a little happiness, a little this or that, but sometimes they mix it with some other stuff too. We're not going to go too much into that. I hope that makes some sense. but we use things to substitute for those feelings, whether it's other people, whether it's, a bigger boat, whether it's a nice car, whether it's fancy socks, somehow to find peace and happiness and joy. If we can't find it internally and remember and access and renew that right, we'll try to find it in another way. And then we're hunting for things that aren't quite the right thing. And we're going to be satisfied with what we find because it's the best thing we've got. There was a theory, and I don't know if this is true or not, but it sounded pretty good when I heard it. It was the soggy potato chip theory. I'm going to assume most of you have had potato chips. Okay. And if you were going to have a potato chip, how would you describe it? Crispy, fresh. You bite it, it should make a little sound, this salt, maybe not too much salt. Variety of those things. Should be crisp, fresh. Have you ever had hot potato chips? Pretty good. Not a great diet, but it's good to have once in a while. I'm not advocating potato chips, just it's an example here. Okay, maybe we'll have potato chips on the way out and a bag of those. Yeah. But this soggy potato chip theory is, you want something, you know what it's like, but sometimes, it's not fresh. And the soggy potato chip theory is, well, you'll settle for that because that's the best you're gonna get. It's not what you want, it's not what you know is right, but it's what you got. And so therefore you're going to settle for that. And so we do a lot of settling. This isn't the right way. This isn't the best. I don't feel complete, but I don't know what else to do at the moment. I don't know how to change or adjust or fix it. So I'll eat the soggy potato chips. That's all I got. That's the best I can find. And so rather than saying no and, figuring it out, we settle. And we've kind of settled for things that we aren't aware of. How much have we allowed ourselves to experience God's love? What is that? Matter of fact, whole big conversation. But that sense of what true love is, what true peace is, that sense that the soul has had that experience and is looking to reclaim that. It comes through an understanding, it comes through knowledge, it comes through practice, it comes through our responsibility to search and to find and to practice reclaiming that because it's there. The book never went away, it just was hidden. The experience of God's love never went away, but it's been locked, it's been hidden, it's been interfered with. And so now the time is to recognize that I have been absent. So what? I have been not clear on what is possible and what is available. That was just the time. Now the time is coming around again. We're discovering who we are. We're knowing what it's like. We're applying that in our practice. And we are the book hunters that have found the knowledge that will help us reclaim, renew that right, God's love. We pause there and see if there might be questions, comments, thoughts, inspirations. We have the opportunity to interact a little tonight. And so I believe that there might be a microphone that's going to be around and available. And Sister Michelle has that. So first here in the audience, any thoughts, any responses, any book hunting tips that come to mind for any of you here? And thanks for coming. So we're here. Thanks for coming for those who are there. If you have hands, and I hope you do, those are the instruments that you would use to signal that you would want to share something. Kind of, it's not very hard. You just have to take it out of your pocket. Have the thought that it would rise above your head, and so that will cause like a minor miracle. The microphone will come to you. You have a hand. Are you going to use that? Very good.
I love the spiritual Geiger counter. I don't think I've ever heard of that, but I really, that like was an arrow that hit me, that I am a spiritual Geiger counter, not in my relationships with people, in the work that I seek, and I never heard that before. And that is something, if I may, if you have royalties
Yeah,
on it,
sure.
I'll have to pay you for it, but I'm going to use that again.
Okay.
For myself and maybe for others, because that was very powerful. That I think it is in each of us. And I've never heard it framed that way, but that hit. I am always looking for that spark.
Okay.
And I don't know, is that considered desire? That I'm looking for that spark in others that I can like a brain meld with them? Because sometimes I have it with people. I often wonder.
I don't know if it's a desire or not, but that sense, if it makes some sense that there's places where energy is activated and there's places where it's like, no, I don't want to spend
Feel
too much
that,
time here.
right? And the more I'm aware of it, that, you're right. And it feels like that you can meet them once.
Yeah.
And you've met them before.
Can be
It's
people,
just so deep,
people and places.
and places too. You're right. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, just
Been there.
some
Did
things.
not know that.
So great.
Questions or any
Great.
comments?
Good. Please.
Okay, so the portion, yeah, well, this is what I do. Can't get out of school, I guess. You're never out of school. You're always learning. The portion where you spoke about, finding something before the potato chip, analogy,
Okay.
finding something to satiate yourself when you feel like you can't take it from within. During the meditation portion of, I was at the tail end for that. Before you even started speaking, I wrote down, I already have everything I need inside me. I don't need anything else to find myself. So
Okay.
for me to have written that down and then you to have said that, I think that's,
There you go.
there's something there.
Did you write lottery
the right
numbers
place.
down?
Huh?
Did you write lottery numbers down?
No, but I did get a scratch off earlier.
Okay.
Waiting to see where we go
Alright,
with that one.
There is, see what happens. So kind of seeing what's going to be there. But it's very, I would offer that I feel that that's true. That what we have and what we're looking for is already inside of us. And that responsibility is to remove some of the things that we've picked up that might interfere. And it's a great question. It might be similar because there was a battle in Christianity between theories of how we should interact with the Supreme. And the choices were, do you fear God or do you love God? What is your relationship? And when we think I'm not worthy, or he's going to punish me, or I have to hide myself away, or I did something, that's fear-based. And that leads into one way of structuring relationships in society. Or if you have everything and there's this sense of appreciation and love, that's another. Fear won actually in that contest. It's a great question. Are you more afraid of God or more in love with God?
Yeah.
Good. So you have everything.
Maybe that
all
book
have
is
things.
inside me in that.
Uh-huh.
I've been hunting in the wrong places. The book is inside me.
Yeah, great. Thanks. Great. Others, thoughts, inspirations, comments. Easy group. We're there. We have one.
Well, your last comment of fear versus love. That's kind of a recurring theme where there's stuff out there that we should be, that's that's accessible to us, but somehow it's being withheld. We have to find it. There's a famous fiction written by Italian author in which Aristotle is supposed to have written a book about humor, treatise on humor, and there's a bunch of scholars searching after it, and the scholar who has it is so upset about the fact that it would make people happy and it would make people less fearful of religion, that he keeps the book hidden in a monastery. And every scholar that goes there to search it ends up dying. He kills them. Something like that. But the notion that there's something, an analogy you used about something, the pursuit of happiness, something that makes you feel good, that makes you happy, that is there. You just have to find it, but I think you just added this layer of, but there's actually things that stop you from finding it. That's external. It's not just internal that you don't find things. There are things outside that also stop you from looking at this material that might actually make your life better, make it pleasant, make it more content. That it's not just from inside. There's stuff outside going on that's making it difficult to kind of say, okay, here, this is what giving me some sort of measure of contentment in my life. Me constantly, papered over by other things that just stopped you from getting it. So I think that's, and like you mentioned, the church, fear won out. In Christianity, fear was the defining category from most of the Christian history, in which you had to fear God and you were all these things that you couldn't do because you would be punished and banned to damnation, what have you. And in all that discussion, there was very little about what makes you happy, only what makes you suffer.
Yeah. Okay. So as far as I know, we have some books and they will make you happy and we will not murder you. That's our plans. Hope it works out that way. We'll ask you to maybe share what you've learned and be examples of that. No, we might murder your old self that is keeping you away from your true self. But no, we're not going to do that either. Be more of an imagination. You can get rid of the old stuff. Doesn't know. Any other thoughts or comments? There's something on the chat, Louise. Are you seeing? Okay. Narayanbai, can the Zoomers talk? Okay. So if there's somebody, a voice from the heavens.
I think this is a pretty profound subject. I mean, for me, and I apologize even in the way I approached it before. You brought something out that's very, I'm going to have to turn on this. I think I looked at this in a very simplistic way. All day I suffered with how was I going to talk about this? And I will apologize to you. I didn't think I did not a good job. You
did great.
Thank
Always
you.
do, both of you.
But this is a very important discussion.
Okay. We do important discussions here.
No, it really is. I'm not, I'm no kid either, and I've never heard this. And it's very like soul opening.
Okay.
So,
Well, the description of finding it from this book, something that was hidden and revealed again, some of the truths that were transforming society. I want to say that's what you're doing here. you are exposing yourself to ideas and experiences that will change your life. And that we have a responsibility to hold on to that and manifest that in ourselves. Because if one person found one book and that goes kind of the uh, beginning of the Renaissance, you think, imagine that, isn't it? But we're renewing also. This is the time of that transformation. And if we want to go into the history, if you were here for the month, we celebrated the January 18th, which is the dates the gentleman Brahma Baba experienced what we call a completion. It was his understanding first of what God was saying. And from one to others, to many, to the world is transforming. The world is changing. And the idea is that who I am and how I want to be, there's another renaissance going on. I think that's the theme next month for me. Some sort of renaissance. So stay tuned. But it's quite, profound and exciting to think that beginning stages of a new awareness are taking place. And the next question is, what am I doing to facilitate that and to become that and to be able to express that?
There's so many competing interests for our time and
Yeah.
book reading. And that's another thing, keep your eye on what book you want to.
Okay. Yeah. That would be Lucretius, and that would be the original On the Nature of Things. And the book about that was The Swerve. Okay. Yeah. And the nature of things has a link between ancient Greece and Thomas Jefferson and your life. They're fighting about the Constitution these days. I don't know exactly about what and how to interpret it and things like that, but it's quite profound. What is the purpose of your life? That's a detail, unnecessary, Why should you know what you're talking about when you argue about it, Something else to consider. But we have a few more minutes. We'll probably close with a reflection.
Hi, everybody. I was just thinking about what some people said about time and how things seem, we forget that we're energy, but the essence of us is pure energy. And so is anyone we meet. And if we've met them before, there's a connection. And if we've met them before and we had some problems, some karmic issues, there's an aversion. I mean, you meet someone and there's something there, and maybe that's the person we need to go toward to settle old debts. And maybe we're drawn and we think it's true love and we have to go out and get smelly cologne to be attractive and wear nice clothes. But I feel, I'm married a long time now to my second husband, and people said, oh, it'll never work. We're 41 years old, And it was a bit bizarre. We kind of went through a lot together. It was difficult, differences between us. But I believe that it was meant to be for us to work out together and apart, because I can't work out can I use the term karma? You're kind of comfortable with, if I push Michelle, she goes this way, and then she can push me back, and cause and effect. The laws keep the planet spinning, and it's very complex, but we're really balanced, even in the universe. So if I meet someone and I'm not liking them, it's my grand invitation to work out and elevate out of the relationship and drag that other person with me, even if drag is the wrong word, right? So it's very lovely to think. Sometimes I just think, well, if I didn't have this body, who am I? I'm a soul who travels forever and I'm indestructible. But right now we have things to contend with. Only purpose of drama to me is to elevate it. That's what I've learned, you know?
Great.
And yeah, things happen, but I don't think it's haphazard and random anymore. That's my 2 cents, 5 cents, 10 cents. Thank you, brother Eric, your usual brilliance.
Good, great. If we're okay, we are going to address our responsibilities. If you will try your best to cooperate, I would like to offer a couple thoughts for you to see if you can hold on to who with your mind and see if you can create a thought into an experience and see how much we might be able to renew our right to God's love. Take a deep breath. You're alive. Feel happy about that. Automatically see yourself being seated, comfortable, and happy. And in that awareness of being alive, being together, that we are spiritual book hunters. We are searching. But not only are we searching, we have found what we were looking for. And the truth that we have found is that we have and are everything we need. So deep inside of us, still a little hard to find sometimes, but there's a deep sense of eternal peace. See yourself at peace now. This is your truth. This has been renewed and rediscovered. I am a being of peace. I breathe easily. I operate the body. And I choose to focus my attention on what is eternally there for me. I am worthy of God's love. It is my right. And right now, I'm responsible to access that, to feel that, and to remember that. I am complete, full, worthy, rightful. Qualities that I'm looking for. I can access joy, peace, and love. May you practice thinking about that. May you practice experiencing that. May you be the one to share that with those in your connection. Let us renew our rights to God's love. Shanti. Thank you much. Do well. See you soon. Happy hunting.
Thank you, Brother Eric. Thank you. A lot of ours tonight. Thank you for the reminder, because it was a good reminder of all gifts we have at our disposal. I need to be reminded. So thank you for that. It was just beautiful. Okay, we'll talk about it later, Louise. And I usually go talk about it. It was great. Thank you. Thank you. And we continue. This is the last of January. It's a renewal of a new month. And it's going to be February and February 1st. And I see our next speaker. Sister Anjali will be joining us for the power of love, because February is the month of love, and it's the love of this whole pod. We're going to talk about that to get us ready. for February. So hopefully we'll see you again, and Zoom family, see you again. Thank you all for coming out tonight. It really does. It's nice to be together. Thank you. And Om Shanti, and thank you. And Tim Toley, it's blessing hearts.